Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Riverdale, Season 1, Episode 8. It's called Chapter 8, The Outsiders. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, as is back after a two week absence. So, absence makes the heart grow a little bit fonder, I think.
Yeah, it does feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, Connor's a little bit ill, by the way, in case you're wondering why his voice is so raspy. But
hmm
here we are. So there was two main plots in this one, really. There was the Polly stuff, the baby in the shower, and the parents, and then there was the Archie's dad, Fred, with his construction and all the stuff that led to. And they both kind of they felt relatively separate, even though there was a little bit of
Yeah,
connective
they were mostly
stuff.
just their own things, weren't they?
Yeah, but both of them did sort of move things forward though in their respective lights, because at first the construction stuff where all of Fred's crew pulls out because the Blossoms are putting it, they've basically bought them off, said, oh yeah, we'll give you guaranteed contracts for 2 years if you drop what you're doing right now and be on call for us. And at first that felt kind of like it was just its own separate like one episode thing, but then as it went on, it was like, oh no, it's about because Harem's got the land, and the Blossoms aren't happy that they've got the land. They don't know it's Harem, admittedly, but and it's gone. And but then at the end, when we find out that the thugs that show up to actually try and break the equipment, that actually seems to be coming from Harem, which would mean that as Jughead's dad speculates, maybe he's found out about Fred and
Yeah.
Hermione, and that's maybe what that's going more. But that plot was okay. It was a little bit saccharine and sweet at times, but that's not really unusual for this show.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, because like both when like Archie showed up with all his friends, like, oh, we'll work on the site, even though other than, I mean, I've spent the summer doing this, but none of these other guys are trained. But hey, we'll
I mean, to be fair, they're just moving stuff around from what we see.
from what we see. But you imagine if they're actually building something, eventually
Well,
there's going to have
yeah,
to
yeah, but
be.
they do say they're the temporary, like until he
Yeah.
finds someone else, so just to keep him on schedule. So I imagine they're just clearing it to get everything started.
Well, sure, sure. But eventually people are going to have to start operating machinery and stuff that they need to be trained for, and
Yeah, yeah,
so eventually Kevin, as much as he's been helpful, is eventually not going to be very useful on a work
mm.
site. Maybe as a helping hand, sure, because there's always carrying stuff to do. But
Yeah, yeah. I think they're just there just to go. Well, we can clear it at the start and keep it going at least for now.
yeah, and then of course eventually it's actually Jughead's dad and the Serpents who show up to help. And at least Jughead's dad, we know, is actually qualified. He used to do this stuff before he went on his
Yeah.
bender.
Yeah, as he even reminds us at the end here.
Yeah. Well, I say bender. A bender implies it's like a limited thing. I don't know if you can call a decade spanning binge a bender.
Extended midlife crisis.
Do you know what's funny actually? Because obviously, eventually. Actually, do you know what I didn't actually realise until this episode is that no one but Jughead knew that his dad was a serpent, because everyone kept being surprised. I was like, oh right, so they didn't know, and he didn't know, and they
Mm,
didn't know. No one knew apparently.
yeah,
I was under the impression that maybe at least Archie's dad knew that.
yeah. I figured the adults would know.
But apparently not, which is fair. But it leads to Jughead and Betty going to talk to him because, right, well, we found out from Polly that there was drug trade going on and all the rest. Jason was being a drug mule for the Serpent, so they go to ask him about it. And I love how he tries to like, wait, where did you hear that? As if it's bullshit. And then as soon as he says, "Oh, Polly just told us," he's like, "Oh, right, okay, all right, okay." He wasn't suspicious. We thought we'd use him. But my favorite part of that scene though is at one point. So eventually, Jughead has to ask, even if he doesn't really think it's true, he has to ask, "Did you have something to do with Jason's death?" And I love. I mean, I like the acting in the scene. I thought everyone's kind of awkwardness about it in the way, like, even though I think his dad understands why he's asking, he has to. He's still obviously hurt by it.
Yeah, he still has to be offended.
Yeah, but he then says, "I may be a terrible dad. That's fair enough. Look around, but I'm no killer." And because I know Skeeter looks mainly from Scream, that really made me laugh, that line. And not because it was like unintentionally funny or because he loved it bad. It's just because it's him. Because it's him, and I know him from this other thing where he was a killer. Spoilers for Scream if you haven't seen it. I apologise. It is 20 plus years old now. But yeah, it was just that made me laugh. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I think sometimes these things are intentional for people like you who will see that and get a little chuckle out of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like David Boreanaz was in like a horror movie, like but this is back when Angel was still on,
Mm.
and a character in the movie said, "Yeah, he's no angel, but," and again, it's like a little wink,
Yeah.
wink. You know him from this other thing here. Yeah. It says something about that movie that is easily the most memorable part of that entire film.
It also says something that your ability to work Whedon related things into absolutely anything.
Hey, no, no, no! It was a David Boreanaz reference, not a.
No, yeah, but in reference to Angel.
Sure, but that's happenstance. That's merely happenstance.
But that's the first example of this that you jump to.
All right, actually, same director of that movie. He previously made Urban Legend, which had Joshua Jackson in it, and the Dawson's Creek theme played at one point in that movie.
All right.
Boom.
You did it with someone else. Congratulations.
And the fact that it happened to be the same director is also really amusing. So this director's one trick gimmick was, oh, we'll put a little reference into what TV show the actor's been on.
It's got to have something.
Oh, dear. Anyway, so that was kind of that plot, and there was lots of little things I liked about this kind of plot line. I liked. I mean, Archie was being kind of too perfect as usual, or at least try to be too perfect. But I did like some of the other stuff that came out of it. I liked that Jughead's dad like phoned Fred like immediately as soon as Archie showed up, and you knew that when they went to the bar, like it was going to be Jughead's dad that got them out of trouble. Like when stuff went down, he was going to show up and be like, "Wait, I know these kids." At least Archie, right? Let's not murder them, please. Fellow serpents.
You'd like to think he'd say that about any kids.
Hopefully, but at least these ones, because he knows like Jughead will be pissed at me
If I kill his best friend.
yeah, that won't go down too well. But I did like the conversation with him and Fred afterwards, where he's like, "Look, it wasn't us, but I'll ask around." You know, there was a sort of mutual kind of respect thing going on, despite everything that's with. So even though we still are in this place where he's not going to come back and work for him, it does feel like there's some mending going on.
Yeah, and obviously when Fred shows up in the truck and he's like, Archie, just get in.
Yeah.
You can tell he is still grateful that he's been phoned and he's aware of this.
Yeah, because the unresponsible thing to do would not be to tell his dad and just talk to him yourself, which I thought he was going to do, obviously, until the car pulls up. It's actually kind of a nice little moment when this car does pull up. Like, oh, he's actually done the right thing. He's contacted the boy's father about coming into a gang's biker bar.
Exactly.
Which is not where any parent really wants their kid. Archie, I guess in true form, is kind of the... I mean, he wasn't too bad in this episode, except one scene that really bothered me, and that was when he stormed into the baby shower to confront Jughead. And I'm like, I get you have to do this, but
But really, here?
you're going to make a scene at something that is completely unrelated to you.
And that was actually the problem where with this episode, in the plots were so separate, is that this scene where it kind of tries to, bring them together a bit by, having the cross-pollination of the plots.
Pollination.
Very good. And it was just, it made it stick out just how separate they were when he shows up at this. And it's like, this has nothing to do with what you're here for. Why are you here now?
It just felt like a dick move to like storm into this event that had nothing. All he's doing is making it awkward for. Now, admittedly, the event got awkward in it for itself quite quickly after this, but
But he didn't know that.
Yeah, but he was just come in and make a scene, and it was like, okay, I get you need to confront him, right? But there's a time and a place, and this is not.
It can wait a day.
Yeah, it can wait till later that night when they're not in a room full of people.
He lives with you. He'll be coming back to your bedroom later that night.
Exactly.
You will see him.
Exactly. So, yeah. Obviously they make up at the end of the episode, and he also makes up because Betty didn't know this either. Betty's kind of pissed at him. Which, by the way, I like when Veronica just drops the. Of course, you're coming to this event. You're Betty's boyfriend. Everyone's like, "She just say boyfriend? Huh?" And then
I like how she calls them all on it though. She's like, "Come on, it's just a word."
Yeah, it's just a word. Calm down, right? But nah. So it's again cute little moments with them. That was fine. After they go and talk to his dad actually, and they come back out and they end up sort of like, "Oh, I should have told you about him. Oh, that's all right. I'll let you in on everything now." And they have this kiss, and I kind of started laughing at this kiss, not because the kiss itself was bad or anything like that.
Was it the light?
It was the lighting. Like they'd perfectly lit it so this really over the top sort of like backlight was hitting them, and it was very cinematic, and it just felt like I feel like the lighting conditions weren't here for this a second ago. It just felt
Yeah,
kind of artificial.
that's what it was for me as well. I was like, where is this light coming from? Because you're just out on the street, is it from what I can see?
I
There's
think it was a
nothing
street light.
there.
Yeah, I think it was just a street light.
I think it was meant to be a street light, but it's like it doesn't look like a street light because
Yeah,
it was kind of at their level, whereas obviously a street light should be much higher.
they're on a hill, so it's a street light from further down the hill. That's where the light's coming from.
Fine, I'll take it.
I'm not gonna criticize it much because honestly, I'm kind of lenient with this stuff where like I don't really care where the light's coming from a lot of the time. If it makes for a good shot, cheat and do it. I'm kind of okay with
I
that.
would agree normally. It's only when it's this where it really sticks out because the show doesn't do it that much.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it's suddenly this over the top and it's like, what? This it drags me out of the moment when it's to that
Yeah.
extreme.
No, you're right. The lighting's typically natural looking in this, so it going very stylized does feel kind of sudden. Whereas obviously other movies and stuff, other shows, will do this so often that it just feels like part of what you expect. So it never sticks out because they always do it.
Yeah.
Whereas this, yeah, it would stuck out a little bit. So that was the construction plot. The other plot, of course, was Polly and the baby shower, and it's like let's try and mend the bridge with Polly and her mother, and we'll see how that goes. And honestly, I actually kind of ended up liking most of this stuff. It was kind of her showing up was a nice little moment at the shower, and her kind of accepting, okay, it's not your choice, because I think what kind of done it is like she shows up at the school and confronts Betty. It's like, what, you're hiding her at the lodges? What are you doing? And Betty just like spells it out. She's like, look, you've got a choice. You either support her and her baby, or you're just going to have to stay out of her life. This is the choice you have right now. It's not anything else. It's you either screw up your relationship so bad that you're never going to be a part of her life again, or you accept that she wants the baby and that you go down this path. And she's still kind of reluctant. But of course, the big thing that comes out of all this is that she finds out from Polly. Oh, well, she finds it from Betty technically, but Polly tells Betty. It snakes through the family.
Chain of events.
Chain of blondes. They're all blondes. One blonde to another. But we find out that when Betty and Polly's dad first found out about the pregnancy, he basically tried to not tell his wife and go, look, I've paid for a doctor, got an appointment, we'll take care of it. You don't have to live with this mistake. He's basically just set up an abortion without asking what she wants or whatever. And apparently it turns out that he did this to her as well when they were younger. Betty and Polly might have had an older brother or sister had they went through with this when they were younger. And I thought this was interesting for me because I think what this does is that it makes Alice Cooper just a little bit more kind of human, and it means that she can relate to what Polly's going through, and it's almost like being reminded of this and being reminded of this specific event. It goes, wait, maybe I didn't want to do that, and I did it because he told me to.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that we make her that bit more sympathetic because up till now she's kind of been a bit of a bitch.
Oh yeah, she's been very two-dimensional bitch mother kind of thing so far.
Like, oh, don't go and see your friends.
Yeah, whereas she's slowly kind of humanized a little bit more. To the point where when the Blossoms... But by the way, the funniest moment of the entire episode for me is actually when the Blossoms storm the bridal shower, the baby shower, with the pram, it just starts like, we're here! And just Cheryl just barges in with us. My only disappointment with this whole thing is that I kind of like the idea that Cheryl was going to be against her family going forward, and it seems like that's not the case. She seemed to be just fully back on their side by the end of the episode.
I think, to be fair, though, in this instance, they've kind of come around to her point of view, even if they're not doing it for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah.
They're still doing what Cheryl's ultimately wants in terms of goals.
Yeah, because they've agreed that they're not going to try and paint Polly as an unfit mother, and they'll support her as well as the baby. It's almost like the opposite side of the same argument that Betty made is, well, you've got a choice. You can support both of them or have no connection. So... It's almost like when they come to the shower, like both Alice, I should say, and the Blossoms are both coming from the same. It's like, all right, so this is the choice we've both got to make, and they're both fighting for both now, rather than just fighting for one and not the other.
Yeah.
And them making their pitch, and because there's a moment where Cheryl's mother's saying something to Polly about supporting her and whatever, and and Alice is about to step in, and Betty holds her back. Like, which again is actually a nice little bit of growth for Betty, because Betty, of course, was very under her mother's thumb at the start of the season, and it's over the season where she started to really fight back and be like, no, I'm not just going to do what you tell me to. I'm not that young anymore. I'm making some decisions for my goddamn self. But she holds her back, and that's a nice little moment, because you actually kind of feel why she wants to jump in at that point.
Yeah.
And you kind of root for her a little bit. So I think by the end of the episode, when she goes home and she confronts her husband, and she's like, "You try to make her do this, get out," and he's like, "I'm not getting out. That baby's not coming back here with." And he goes full on, essentially. I mean, it's not racism, but it's essentially like racism. He's like, "I don't want a baby in my house that has blossom blood in it," and it's just full on like hatred of her. Like, and it's like, it's a baby. The baby hasn't done anything. It's innocent.
Yeah, it's just this prejudice.
Yeah. So you got that. Speaking of the Blossoms, actually, I forgot to mention Archie's dad, Fred, just driving the car in front of the Blossom car as it's leaving the gate to confront him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty funny. But no. Also, another little funny thing I liked is the Blossoms, amongst not just the other stuff, but they give them this little rocking horse, and I liked Alice calls it a Trojan horse. That really made me laugh.
It was.
But yeah, so the ultimate thing of all this is that Polly, too many names in my head, Polly's left with this choice as who she's going with, and it looks like she's going to go home. It looks like she's going to go with her mother, and you feel kind of like her mother's kind of earned the right to try and help her now. Like, she's on her side. It's definitely not a perfect relationship by any means, but she seems to be making, no pun intended, baby steps towards doing the right thing here. But she takes the money. She goes to the Blossoms at the end. That's how we end the episode.
Yeah, I think ultimately we see more of the mother's journey than Polly does, so she's not quite as informed.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I actually like that when Betty comes home at the end to tell her mother that she's tried, and she starts crying. You kind of feel like this is the first time in the entire show where I feel like Betty and her mother feel united on something.
Yeah, definitely.
And it feels like they've grown as a result of all this. And obviously the Blossoms feel more two-dimensional compared to Betty's mother now. They're fun, don't get me wrong. I think they're hilarious. When they barge in at the shower, and then Cheryl's like, "Right now, let's get you to a good spot over by the food." And there's which, by the way, the Blossom Nan's still scary.
She's fantastic in this one.
Yeah, she's a scary old lady. It's good. It's good stuff. I enjoyed this episode. It's definitely not super, not soapy or anything like that. It still has all those things about it, but it's hitting a lot of the right notes right now.
Yeah, it was enjoyable this time. Where sometimes I feel like these certain plots, like 5-6 episodes ago, maybe a bit less than that, I'd have kind of groaned a little bit.
Well, because I think the worst ones we've had so far is definitely some of the Archie music stuff, where it's like, oh, I need to impress on stage, and I need to do this, and I need to...
Yeah, I just mean, neither of these were furthering the mystery of anything. They were just the character drama plots.
A little bit.
A tiny little snippets.
Because we see that the guy Kevin's dating from the Serpents, he's actually... It's all a ruse.
Yeah, he's a plant.
And we see Jughead's dad, he puts the Jason jacket in this bag, and he's like, right, hide this stuff, this is an insurance in case the cops come sniffing. And it seems like, well, I don't think they killed Jason. It does seem like there's more going on, and they know a bit more stuff.
Yeah, like I said, we got little hints, but the overall plots were very much just the character, the character-driven ones. And
honestly,
typically they've kind of been the weaker ones for me up till this point.
Yeah. But, well, it makes sense that these have to get stronger, and it's good that they're getting stronger, because obviously we're going to wrap up this mystery at the end of the season, probably, and then we have these characters again for season 2, so we have to have other stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm really looking forward. They're really building up Hiram Lodge to be this big bad, and I'm looking forward to that. Like, because he'll stick around presumably, and he'll be a big effect on the town and all the characters. He'll shake things up.
He's definitely got to be the thing for season 2 that really changes and comes in and alters all the dynamics.
What I wonder is if they cast him yet. Is he going to show up in the finale, or is it just going to be like a tease, and we'll see him properly next season? That's what I wonder. But. I had fun with this episode. Both plots were mostly pretty good, and they had good character moments. And I think in a show like this, where it isn't like a superhero show, it isn't a sci-fi show, it isn't all these kind of things, I think the character drama and actually having the characters' motivations make sense and have them react in interesting ways is what the core of the show is going to be. And this episode kind of delivered that. So
Yeah, this is where you see whether it'll live or die beyond just the opening mystery.
Yeah.
And if they can keep it up like this, I'm down.
Although I fully expect there will be a new mystery in season 2.
There will, but it is because by it's a new mystery. They've got to start from scratch. You've
Oh
got to
yeah.
already care by that point.
But there you go. That's episode 8 of Riverdale. Sorry we're a little bit late. Schedules got tangled and Connor's sick, as you can hear. So bear with us, but thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen for everyday ramblings. Thanks for watching, guys. Have you got any vanilla?